Okay, we should be good to go. This time, I actually had to wait a second because the episode wasn't up yet. This is similar to the whole Teresia episode. I actually had to wait a few minutes before it was properly up. Anyways, hello everybody. I probably actually should have loaded this a little bit ahead of time. I realized now I saw it there. I'm like, cool, it's ready, and then I didn't actually properly load it. But now it is. Yeah, I'm doing so while I'm talking. Anyways, regardless of all that, hello everybody. Zai, Niab, Akoni, whatever we want to say. Welcome back to another episode of ReZero Season 4 slash Arc 6. I am very fucking excited for today's episode. It is not my absolute favorite moment of Arc 6, but if we're going off the first volume, it might be. This or what comes after, and what comes after might be covered here or it might be covered in the next episode. Either one of those, I'm thinking it might be covered here, honestly, depending on how much this episode goes through. But either one of those, that's my favorite moment of Arc 6's first volume, right? Not as a whole, but Arc 6 for the first volume, that, right? Now, it's a relatively short first volume. Honestly, we're past like half of it, so it's not surprising. But still, I've been very excited to watch this. I'm really glad to see this mix like comments about it in terms of people being like, oh man, I can't wait for next week. This is gonna be so good, right? Like previously with the other reaction. And then other comments being like, what the fuck is coming, right? Like, what the fuck does that mean, right? Really, really excited. I can't wait. And you know what? Can't wait so much that we might as well just load in. No bullshit, no nothing. Let's just get into it, right? So, I am going to do the usual. I'm going to click this. I'm going to click this. We should be good to go. And I'm going to do the whole uh spiel of, starting the timer and all that, and we'll go from there, right? But with that said, let us get to this. So, on the timer, good. And then 3, 2, 1, let's go. Perfect. Ooh, I like that shot already. By the way, I do know that we get the ending this episode, so I'm excited for that. Mm. Sorry, I'm just making sure I'm tabbed in. It looks so good. I said that in the trailer, but it looks so good. I'm so antsy. I'm so antsy right now. Oh, and they show it too. They actually do. Huh. Because I think in the novel, it's more, at least web novel wise, I think it's more so kind of described in a sense. Uh, but it's interesting to actually see it in there. That's cool. It's also nice that she was targeted because she's like arguably the most vulnerable in a sense because of her horn. Mm, the sand. Mm. Oh, that's good. I can't speak on it too much yet, but the contrast for what's to come. Oh, that was a fun shot. Probably tell by my fingers. I'm so excited. I might actually get an opening this episode because there's no credits actually. Oh, you know what I wonder? Are we gonna get the Hunter x Hunter reference? because technically we've gotten them before, but I'm curious if we're gonna get the explicit one here. Yeah, that is the opening. Okay, yeah. Um, ooh, I can't wait. I can't fucking wait. Oh, I'm so curious. How much is it gonna cover, right? How much is it actually gonna go for? Sorry, I'm gonna tab out for a minute just to. I'm making sure that's not capturing the desktop audio. I think I've told this story before, but I fucked up with one of the bleach reactions at one point. And I forgot I had unmuted desktop because I was recording something. I was, I think I was straight up just playing like Jackbox or like Lethal Company or some shit with friends, and I recorded footage because I'm like, yeah, if I want to make a video out of that, sure. Um, Not really like a proper video, but on the one of the side channels. Uh, and I forgot to mute the audio again, and it was a mistake because then I was like, oh shit, right? Watch the bleach reaction, you can hear the audio, and then boom, there it went. And I was like, yeah, okay. So now I'm always paranoid about that. But I was saying with the whole episode, I'm fucking excited. I'm so curious to see how much they cover. Like, so I think Arc Six's first volume had up to 15 chapters or something like that. I think it was relatively close to Arc Five's. Arc Five's I think was a little bit less, and I'm curious to see if it's gonna cover. I think up to like 9 or 10. It was maybe not 9 or 10, maybe a little further. That's the shot from the trailer. That sounds silly that I'm pointing that out, but you know what I mean. Again, the fact that the sand is the only thing that's CGI is like crazy. It looks so fucking good. Just comparing it to Arcs 4 and 3 and all that, like, man. And now, yep, there it is. First to go. What is it? Is he gonna do the reference? Okay. No, wait. Was it later? Oh, it's actually right first. Oh, it's right first. Okay, either that was changed in the light novel, or we're not there yet. Alternatively, there might be a death that isn't here. This is where the web novel and light novel might diverge, and therefore my knowledge on it is going to be split. Because I do not remember the door at all. I remember a door, but we're not there yet. Hmm. Also wasn't there, and I forgot. Again, that might happen on occasion, but I think less so for Arc 6. I feel like I'm going to remember a lot more here. I'm I'm so curious as to if there's something that's not here. Bram's posture there is making me think they cut something. Their posture is really making me think they cut something. And I'm not going to say details until I know what the whole episode has. Like, I remember, I think we saw footage of it, but maybe it wasn't here. Oh my god, the music. The music, like, or not parallel. The music going with this is crazy. That's good. That's good, man. Showing that exhaustion and everything. Oh, oh. Yep, here we go. Wow, so they cut it. Not cut, like, not they cut it, but like, presumably. No, wait. No, I don't know that the web, or not web, I don't know that the light novel could have. Because I remember the illustration. Did they cut it? Oh no. Oh no. Yep. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, the noises. The noises. I'm so curious on how this is all going to be drawn after the previous episode. This is. I'll give it a minute. Yeah, this is good. This is good. This is exactly what I hoped for. Mm, God, it's all drawn so it's voice acting. I want to hear Rhea Murakawa pop off. I want to hear it. Ooh, I've been waiting for this. There it is. Oof. I didn't think about it when I first read it, but this is very parallel-esque to Krush confronting Subaru in Arc 3 during the what is essentially the white whale loop. Like the loop where he actually, dies and all that. This scene's so good. I love this scene in the novel and I love it here. Mm, there it is. What I saw Twitter calling the penis hand, or damn, that was more force than I remember. Yeah, this part was, yeah, yeah. Ooh. Oh my god, it's such explicit detail for her face and the movements in the legs and hand. Oh, her hands are turning purple. The like right here, it's turning purple. Oh, it's not enough. Yep, there it is. What is with the filter? Holy shit, this is awesome. I'm actually so happy. I know I said that in a very monotone-esque way, but oh, I've waited so long. Someone's getting sliced. Yep. Oh my god, it's so yeah. Yeah. And Subaru is more useful because he knows more about Echidna. God, it's so well done. This is like, mwah, this is cinema. I I hate using terms that are always like just constantly thrown around at random, but like we've hit it. That look, everything. Picture of Bardock. And then is this where, oh, that's a good shot. Oh, and then, right? If I remember correctly, yep. Oh, and the walking too. And the walking too. Ooh. Oh, it's perfect. It's perfect. Oh. One of my favorite parts of the original. Oh, this is so. Hold on, I'm gonna wait a minute. I might say it at the end. That was fucking DOS. Yeah. Ooh. That's so well done. Dude, the fact that it can, like I said it last episode, the fact that it can be this gory, if it was like this earlier on in the series, holy shit. Arc 2 would look way different. Arc 2 would look way different. And then, yeah. Oh, I have to save so much for like, oh, let me see. How much did they show of this? How much did they show of this? I need to know. I need to know how much did they show. This is a great shot. That, mm, perfect. You can't see enough, but the noises and the general shadow tell you. That's a really good shot of Super. Let me see it. Open your mouth. Open your mouth. Yep, there it is. Oh, that's way more brutal than I imagined. The fact that the head's barely even there. Oh, that laugh. Ooh, that actually jump scared me a little bit. You might have seen me shift. Ooh. Wow, they're showing that too. We're not just going to the next loop. Okay. Okay. That was perfect. I no notes. That was perfect. I'm happy. I'm very happy. That was we're only going up. What episode one was pretty good, but you know, oh yeah, and then this. I do like this scene for how much of an emotional support she is. But then like episode two and then this, it's just I don't think four will be as intense, assuming that this covers most of what's there. But oh yeah, and then that's when it clicks. That's when the whole thing clicks. Yep, that shit festers inside you and just makes any negative emotion. Well, technically speaking, because it's eating away at you and eating away at your mind, it's gonna make any negative emotion amplified, right? So it's oof. I might wait till the end for some of the stuff I wanted to mention, but I'll try my best to say all of it because the whole point of the reaction is to kind of mention the stuff that I wanted to go more in detail with uh, past my review, and then also just seeing it. So they did change it. Okay. I don't know. I don't know if it's changed in the light novel or just here, but they did change it. Because the reason he chooses right is supposed to be Kurapika. That's why. So This scene is I'll talk about it later, but this scene is so significant. It's so significant. The throwing up and then this. Mm. Yup. Yup. Burning. Here we go. I wonder if it's gonna be. No, you know what it totally is? Oh my god, it's swapped. Oh my god, they swapped it. They swapped the order. They totally swapped the order. They totally swapped it because yeah. Where is it? Let me see it. I see it. I see the shadow of it. That was a nice falling shot. Let me see it for real. There's all the bones. Come on. Give it to me. Oh, this thing. There it is. Oh, it looks just as cool as it did in the novel. It looks just as cool. Let me hear the scream. That is exactly how it was described. I don't actually remember those being there. That actually is not bad for a CGI shot. That was actually pretty good. Oh, never mind. Yeah, there is no swap. Okay. All right, fair enough. Hmm. There it is. I think what the yeah, ew, there it is. Hmm. I think actually the equivalent of this chapter is probably what's my favorite more than the previous one, solely because something that's on the way, and I do hope it's still in there. It probably will be, but ooh, that was good. I like that. I remember that from the trailer, but seeing that proper tactical teamwork there is like, ooh, and yeah, God, the baby screaming just like they described it is so damn good. Here she comes with the do it, do it. There. That's why. That's why. That line is so significant, and her doing this is such a big deal. It's so damn good. Yeah, there it is. And that line's also very significant for. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. That is some impeccable aim to not also hit Ram. Good starting shot of her. Good lighting and everything. I like that shot. Oh, and the line again. She gets to say it again. Let's see it. I want to see this. Give me that Miff and Royd song. I'm liking how it sounds so far. I like the visual here. Ooh. I'm gonna let myself just enjoy this for the time being, right? I'm not gonna speak too much. I almost wanted to say that the way the blood parted there almost made me think of something, but probably not. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. If we could get this whole thing as like a proper like phone wallpaper sort of thing, I would gladly like download that. I would gladly use that, dude. This is my favorite arc. I fucking ooh, that's really good. I like the song. I don't know compared to like other endings in Myth and Road stuff. I'm just double checking our time. I don't know how it would fare in a sense. That is a beautiful final shot. That's perfect. That is like actually perfect for a final shot. Oh, and then the book falls and she just. Oh, that's good. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm very happy. I am very happy. That was an absurdly good episode. Wow. Okay. Um just general things I wanted to talk about with the whole thing. Uh yeah, so let me get a few things just across really quick just because I want to mention it for the sake of I was going to save it for this and everything and that's what we're going to do now. Um I do find it interesting, and I don't know if it's skipped in the light novel. Had I actually fucking done what I had planned to do and read like prior to all this, I could have found out, but I didn't. That's okay. Whatever. Um, there is actually supposed to be a another death before that whole like interaction they all have with Patroche and Ram and all that and like Anastasia, or I guess Echidna, but I'll get to that in a minute. Um, there's supposed to be a death right before that where Subaru does go left, encounters that, goes right because of the fact that that thing's fucking there, right? That's fucking scary. Goes right, that happens, right? And then goes left again, but informs them, hey, there's something in there, right? Like, it's like, I can't explain why I know this, but I know that there is probably something in there and it's really bad. Um, and again, I don't know if that was in the light novel or if that was a like, web novel exclusive thing, right? I think it's partially fine if it is cut out. Uh, I do think like here's the thing, I could get it for the sake of pacing. I do also think it's fun though for the sake of showing either path is kind of fucked, right? Because it created that moment with uh that like them all trying to work together to beat this thing of like either path is kind of fucked, but this one's slightly more manageable because you can at least fight it, right? Whereas the other one's just like it's unknown how long it goes on for, right? So that was something I really enjoyed with that, and I'm curious to see if that wasn't in there or whatever it may be. Um, interesting thing that I was going to note though with Anastasia and all that. Fun fact: it's not really said explicitly that it is her, right? But they kind of imply that when Echidna is cut in half there, right, by Ram, they kind of imply in the web novel, and I don't know if this is in the light novel either, but I like this text because it's so interesting because you have to come to your own conclusion on it. They imply that it is hard to tell whether or not who is like, frantically, screaming to Subaru to help, is Echidna, or if it's Anastasia. Like the idea that she swapped back because she died, right? It's so fucking interesting. I think the implication more so, at least my own firm belief, if it isn't outright, said, my firm belief is that it is because it would make sense, right? We saw what happens with Beatrice when she ends up dead, right? Fades away into nothing, right? Into just mana. But that can also be viewed for Echidna, where, well, she's dead, right? And therefore she would fade away into nothing. So what does that leave? Anastasia, because nobody else occupies the body other than her, right? So it's interesting. Um, I was gonna note one more thing that yes, it was the whole scene with them throwing up and everything. So I love that chapter as well a lot. I mentioned the whole like Ram putting her arms out and everything. Uh, that's probably my favorite of the first like volume now that I'm seeing it again. I'm like, no, that's probably my favorite. Uh, but the hallway going into that scene that happened after with the throwing up and everything is one of my favorite just collective sort of moments because I think this takes place over a couple chapters, not just one. It's like I think it's two. Um, but it's so significant because I described it in my review when I read Arc 6 and talked about it, was just the fact that it feels like that scene with them arguing. It's because their mind is kind of withering away, right? But the big part of it for that whole thing between Subaru and Ram is it feels like similar to the stuff that I was talking about, like similar to stuff with the third arc, right? Um, it feels like there's a lot of like what they're saying is something you can get in terms of where they're coming from, right? Subaru getting mad at Ram, especially because of how much she just constantly insults him and everything. And then Ram getting mad because it's like, hey, we didn't come here to do all this bullshit or whatever it may be that you're thinking we came to do. I came here to, like, save my sister. That's why I'm here, right? And that's why you wanted to come. That was your intention, right? Yeah, sure, there's the sage, but that wasn't the priority, right? Again, like the Krush thing of Krush pointing out, not once did you bring up, saving Amelia. You just pointed out the witch cult over and over again. You didn't point out Amelia, right? Um, but similar to that, that sort of thing where it's like, Ram points that out and you can see where they're both coming from, but it also hurts because it's like they're both going way too far and you can fully understand it, right? And especially when they start fighting there and everything, it's like, oh, and just, oh, that going into the scene with Ram helping him throw up and then Subaru being overly like considerate for her afterwards of being like, you can have my cloak if you're cold and all this shows and top it all off, that scene with her spreading out her arms, right? The reason that's such a significant chapter to me is it shows, listen, these parts to their brains exist, right? Subaru does have this part in the back of his brain that is going to overall get tired of the insults. He's never going to outright speak it, but it's going to be there just the tiniest little bit. And same for Ram, right? When she's taken away from the path of helping out her sister, that's going to be a huge deal, right? But it's so significant for that whole thing, right? That whole from the throw up to that scene, right? Of her spraying her hands. It's so significant because it outright shows they care for each other, right? This part of their brain like exists, but that doesn't change the fact that these two care about each other a lot, right? This is a proper like almost real like brother and sister sort of thing between them, and I like that a lot. It's one of my favorite moments of this arc because it shows a lot, and just some of the scenes they get together with this arc is like so damn good. I can't go into details, obviously. I don't want to spoil any of you, but like it's so damn good. I think this arc really helps build on relationships that all the characters have. So fucking good for that. And I'm glad they did it the way they did it because it was great. Um, that was handled perfectly though. I was so glad that as excited as I was not let down by that at all, right? The fact that it's so it's as brutal as it's described, right? Again, I pointed out it's the one kind of big critique. I mean, I've had other critiques before, but it's the one kind of big critique I've had with the art of the novel is that it never really shows a whole lot, right? At most, it shows, some gore and stuff like that. And listen, again, I brought up with the previous episode, you don't necessarily need that. But when a series is described the way it is, because its fucking offer is like a butcher, right? It's not surprising that it's like, yeah, you want to go really in depth with that sort of thing. And it's disappointing when it's described, then you see it in the light novel, and it's not fully there, right? You see it in the manga, but you don't see it there. It's a little unfortunate. So seeing it actually here, right? And I was almost worried, not really worried, but I almost thought with arc 5, I'm like, okay, yeah, they're going to show more, but they're still not going to show too much, right? Some of the arc 5 deaths didn't really show everything. It was more censored than anything else, right? But there was like bits and pieces of something there. So I was like, okay, you know what? That's fine. That works, right? I'm like, I'm cool with that. But as soon as we saw the previous episode, I knew, oh, this episode's going to show everything, right? It's going to show Ram getting stabbed, right? And just that like vomiting of the blood. uh it's gonna show Anastasia slash Echidna getting cut in half and the entrails falling on the ground and everything and all that. They didn't go further than that, and I'm glad, right? Because some of that stuff we don't need to see. But uh they showed all that, and I was like, okay, sick. Patrochet showing Ram's hair in there and just the blood, and the fact that it's like barely anything of Ram's actual head can be properly seen past all of that. It's like, oof, right? And then they still. My phone jump scared me. I'll call that back in a second. Um, but the fact that then you also don't even get the loop just yet, right? You get to actually see what happens to Subaru after. It's so fucking good. I love this a lot. This was perfect. And that filter and the shots in there, literally everything about this episode seems like fantastic, right? It seems like this was done perfectly, right? It looked beautiful at every fucking moment. Uh, that scene in its entirety, and especially as soon as the filter comes on and we get some of those close-up shots to Anastasia or Ram or Subaru or whatever it may be, all of that looked so fucking good, and I am so damn happy that we are at this point where it's just like, this is what this series can look like now. And that ending, right? I know it's the ending. It's gonna play through other episodes as well, but that ending looked great as well. Like, oh man, whew, I am excited. I know the next episode will be a bit more of a cool down, a little bit and everything, but it'll still have some very intense stuff to it, and I can't wait for that. But yeah, and we are nearly done. What is the equivalent of the first volume here? We are almost there. It's only a little bit more. Like, honestly, the next episode should wrap it up. The next episode should wrap up what the first volume covers, and then after that, my friends, if you are a anime only, I'm gonna say this now. It shouldn't be surprising, really. But past the first volume, we've essentially just made it like, okay, I worded that a little bit weirdly, but we've made it past what is the slowest and most calm part of arc 6. That might sound fucking crazy because of what we just saw, and I know, and it is, but trust me, we are past the calm. Here comes the storm, right? So yeah, I'm excited for more. Can't wait for next week. This is gonna be real fun, right? This is gonna be a real fun set of just weeks to come. Oof. I'm so, and the fact that from what I understand, it's not even split up into cores. They're just handling all this at once. It's like, okay, all right, cool. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm happy. If this is how Arc 6 is going to be handled, cool. I want to note, I want to note, I want to note, I want to note, I want to note. People were worried way back when, before Arc 5 aired, that this could potentially be bad, right? That Arc 6 could be adapted and it might end up like shit. And that was the constant worry for like quite a few years. Listen, I had my worries too. I will say that without a doubt. But getting this now, I'm like, you know what? I'm glad any of those worries I had were proven wrong. I'm glad any worries that anybody else had were proven wrong. The fact that we've reached this point and it's just like, nope, this series is good. That's it. Like, we got a fantastic arc. Cool. That's awesome. So yeah, I'm really happy about this. Can't fucking wait for more. Oof. Oh, what man, I'm thinking about some of this stuff. Like when they cover, again, I'm not gonna say too much, but when they cover some of the like stuff with Melee, for example, and all that, it's like, ooh, I can't wait. I can't wait. It's gonna be so good. With that said, I'm gonna head out for now. But for anybody who is, watches stuff on the main channel, might be here from the main channel, whatever it may be, or if you are also a web novel, I guess, slash light novel reader, probably more so web novel because that probably makes more sense for what I'm about to say. The live reading sessions, we are starting this week. That is confirmed. I know I could have started earlier. I felt kind of iffy yesterday. I'm not gonna lie, and I was debating on like doing a live reading session because I'm like, well, if I'm not working on anything, I might as well do one, right? And I'm like, if I feel like shit, I probably or not like shit, but you know what I mean. Like if I don't feel perfect, I probably shouldn't do that just in case, right? Especially if that also just ends up making me feel worse. It's like, yeah, probably not. So didn't want to do it yesterday. Apologies for that. But I am aiming for either Friday or Saturday. You'll see a YouTube live stream thing, right? The thing that you can be notified on and all that. Once I figured it out. Uh, but for now, Friday or Saturday, one of those 2 days, it's gonna be them. I don't know when, but one of them we will finally start. We're only gonna read one chapter, like I think I had already mentioned. If I hadn't, arc 9 chapters for the finale seemed to be really long based on the word counts I saw when they were coming out. Uh, so we're probably going to keep them at like a very simple minimum of one, and then maybe occasionally we'll do two or three. But we'll see with the future on that. But for now, it'll be one. Still, we'll get back into it, and once we get back into it, we'll just keep going. Right? We'll get to the end of that, and then we'll go from there. But Friday or Saturday, I'll see you all with Arc 9. With that said, take care. Have yourselves a great day, great night, whatever it may be. Stay safe, and I will see you all next week with the next reaction. I'm so excited. Farewell, peeps.